Welcome to another episode of You Are Already Successful. Yes, you, right now. I got a special guest. I'm excited, man. I got a special guest. I got somebody that's like my brother. I've known him for 10 plus years. The dude is a celebrity. He's really a celebrity. And he's a legend, man. And I don't throw around the legend term loosely, but this dude is truly a legend. Some of his accomplishments I'll run off. Proud father, husband, beautiful family, poet, artist, dean, author. He has one of the top podcasts. He's on Black Love Network. Recently won a Grammy and a number of other awards.
Emmy. Grammy soon coming. That was an Emmy.
Emmy, my bad. The Grammy is definitely coming. Shared stages with countless other people, man. There's too many to name. But for me, like, some of the biggest accomplishments are just how humble you are to be so accomplished. The dude is one of the most humblest dudes you'll ever meet. And also, for me, one of the other accomplishments that I really rate is that to have gone through what this dude has gone through, and to still be here smiling is probably one of the biggest accomplishments. So, shout out to my brother, man. I'm talking about Karega Bailey.
Yo.
Welcome to the show, bro.
Yo, big ups to the community that tunes in to You Are Already Successful. Roland, big up to you for creating spaces for storytelling and platforms for storytelling. I just really want to just thank the community that makes this space possible, and thank you for having me, man. Massive love. What's going on?
Man, it's a pleasure, bro. So thank you for coming through. I mean, you're somebody whose schedule is busy. You happen to be in DC.
Yeah.
I know you hit Broccoli. Y'all went all over the place, photo shoots and everything. So the fact that you came through with the family. Shout out to the fam, Fee, Kamali in the building too. But man, I really appreciate it, bro.
Sincerely, man. Thank you for having us. It's like part of my conditions at work that my family can be present. They reserve the right to be home if they choose, but wherever I go, the conditions must be made for my family to be present. That precedes my work, right? That's who I am. I'm not a fraction. You dig what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah.
And your family is my family.
Straight up.
Yo, crazy is like, even, we're family, but our fathers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the bloodline.
Yeah,
like,
it's a long time coming.
Yeah, man.
Matter of fact, when I saw your pops the other night, he asked, was my pops in town with me? And that was a dope ask. But this morning I spoke to my father, right? And I told him that he was asked about, and I could hear the life in his voice, right? To know that a brethren is checking for him in such an endearing way. Yeah, man. So big up to the legacy that comes before us.
Facts, bro.
Sincerely.
Facts, bro. So there's so much that we could get into too because of our history and how long we known each other. We talk all of the time, and hours can go by, and so there's a lot that we can get into. And I'll try to keep us on track, but also don't want to really create any guardrails for us too.
Yeah, be like water.
We're gonna be like water.
Bet that.
So who is Karega Bailey? Like, obviously that's a question that I know who Karega Bailey is, but like, in your words, who is Karega Bailey?
Well, I leave room for who I am becoming, right, as a human being. But you must first know about me. I'm an angel father. I'm a father. I'm a storyteller, an MC, a Black family wellness practitioner. I spend a lot of time in the American public education system, the schools, leading schools, but this part of my work requires me to, make the world my classroom, that space of learning. So it's been a blessing to be able to experience my purpose across so many different mediums. and now being able to see it with clarity every day is strikingly clear. So,
yeah, man. I mean, you always, ever since I know you, bro, everything is intentional, meaningful, deep. Like there's nothing that's taken for granted, and that's one of the things. Like even just watching you move, one of the benefits of that as well. So,
big ups, yo.
Yeah, man.
Grateful. This is an amazing space. Let me just add, aside from podcast production and such, just a blessing of your space. I can feel it, and I'm grateful to be here. So
appreciate it,
man. I'm all yours.
Appreciate it, man. And I know how you are, man. You I give a compliment and then you coming back at me, but this is definitely going to be on you, bro.
Nah, this is a real one. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man. So like lyrically, so again, I said I don't throw around legend lightly. Lyrically, you're insane, bro. Your pen is crazy, man. Like I'm telling you, bro, you up there with me. You up there with the J. Cole's and the Kendricks. I said it.
Honor.
You know what I'm saying? And if y'all know Karega, then you already know. You know what I'm saying? If you follow him, you listen to his music. I'm not telling you nothing that you don't know.
Honor.
So I like to say there's two people, right? Two types of people when it comes to you. There's people that already know you and know what I'm saying is facts, and there's people that's gonna know. So if you don't know, you're gonna know. And if you don't know, look, download, go follow, and subscribe, and all of that stuff, and you'll find out. But you're gonna find out if you don't know. But it's 100% true. So what makes you a legend, not just again lyrically, but like the character, bro.
Yeah, you know what? It's ill. You should say that. I honor it. I'm also at a place in my life and my career where I'm not running from compliments. I'm gonna stand in it. If it's mine, it's mine. If it's my shoe and it fits, I'm gonna stand in it. And the aspect and dimension of humility you spoke about, it's largely in part because I know where my health and my strength and my gifts come from. So I'm in submission to the source. I'm in submission to God. But concerning my responsibility, my jurisdiction to shoot it like I see it, that's my zone of genius.
Bro.
Right? The way I see the board is my gift.
Bro. When genius is the right term, bro. I'm telling you, like, so for me, what I like about music and what I think is dope is when an artist could put their perspective in song form, right? In a sense where, if you can relate to what you're hearing, then it's like, man, that's it. But you're like another level with it. It's like, yeah, you're not just giving perspective. For me, even if I haven't been through it, I feel like I've experienced it based off your words. So it's like another level to it.
And concerning my storytelling, my songwriting, shout out to the team that has helped make the process efficient and fun. But I've always been very selective with my words. If out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, it's really an indication of what's in your heart. And it don't mean you got to filter it, because if you got to filter it, that's not your heart. That's your cognitive. That's who you want to be, right? Interrupting who you are. But I really work to get to the source of who I am and tell my story from that perspective. So I'm never really concerned about what, like, there's no comparison for my life experiences for how I see the board. There's only connection, right? And we tell these stories, and I make art to create the conditions that allows us to alleviate our suffering, right? So you create the art that creates the conditions for the conversations to happen, for the inward looking to happen, for the curiosity about love, for curiosity about abundance. I make the art that gives us room to have those conversations with ourselves and with others, because it's important. That's where we're leading in right now, G.
Bro.
That's what we're leading in right now. There's no way around it. Love is the highest frequency, the most important. And we dial in on that. Like, we gotta You asked me who Karega was, and I told you an angel father, father. So angel father refers to the term for parents who have experienced what we call a double transition. My first daughter, Kamayu Soul, my wife and I had a wonderful 9-month pregnancy, a beauty, a joy. After grad school, after her PhD. Now this is a couple coming from high school. And the day Kamayu was born, she also transitioned, a double transition. The day she comes, the day she departs this earth. And so my humility comes in knowing that I didn't get myself through those troubled waters. It wasn't strength and will. It was grace and fire and cold and dark and light. And I'm so aware of what God did for me, there'll be no debt on my praise. All right, so wherever I go, I'm going to transform the space by giving him praise. And that's where the humility comes from. I didn't get myself through it. But the favor that I was given because of my faith makes me stand as such. You know what I mean? Can't nobody son me but the Father. Because I know the grace that I was given and the reward for my faith. So now that we have our second daughter, Kamali, you think I'm waiting on somebody to give me permission to create the world that I know they must inherit? I'm not waiting for somebody to give me permission. I'm not waiting for somebody to see it. So I create. I create every day. I'm co-creating a world that they will inherit, values and assets and resources that they will inherit. Identity, love, generational love, 7 generations. Like, I'm creating this because it's legacy work. It's legacy work. And I'm aware that, like, children aren't raised at addresses, right? I was in public schools from Philly to DC to Oakland to Newport News, right? So no matter how much you love your child, they're not raised at your address. They have to go into the world.
Facts.
And I'm not novice enough to think that all the things I create in my home are enough to sustain the world they will inherit. So I have to go create in the world. I have to go push boundaries and genres to create a space for us to be well, to create a space for the Black family to exist and be well and be seen and be valuable. So, I don't know what everybody else writing music for, but music is a very, very sacred thing, right? Coming especially from a roots and culture perspective. It was always supposed to teach us and lend to our imagination and always supposed to connect us to God. Always was. So I can't tell you what everybody else rapping about. And blessings to however they sustain and grow their identities and provide for their families. But I'm doing something very specific.
Bro, I gotta hit the button again, bro. Yo, and it's crazy because hearing you say it, right? That's the first time we had this conversation. But hearing your music, it vets everything that you're saying. I can hear it in what your music, and we're gonna go through some of the lyrics, bro.
Come on.
The crazy thing is, like, in your music, bro, it's so raw and transparent and real.
Yeah.
That it gotta be. It's just authenticity that can't be fake. It's hurt and healing. It's trauma and therapy. Everything wrapped in it. And it's like you don't skip a step, right? A lot of times what happens with us and our, people in our society is that we talk about this side where we are now. And then we might talk about where we were after we came out of it. Which you're so special though. Like, I literally, and we're gonna go through some of these songs and lyrics. I could track exactly where you were. You were giving it to us when you were in it. You ain't wait until you came out to where you are.
Here's what's crazy. So that was about leaving a gospel. So when we would have family prayers in my house, but this is before my mom had a car big enough to take all of us to church. So church was in the house. And you read these scriptures and you interrogate them, you try to find your truth, your lane, you try to really see the word. And like God wrote the living word and he created a living word. And we're supposed to be that living word. Our lives are supposed to do the singing. So I'm adding testaments of God's goodness so that the last blessing they're reading about wasn't 2,000 years ago. So let me back that word up by 2,000 years ago with this account from 2019, 2020, 2018, 2014. Let me give you some notes so that when my children read what I was creating, it strengthens the faith. See, life is long, and its beauty isn't determined by how easy it is. So a beautiful life is what we're after. That may come with some adversity, right? Some character building days. But if I can help them develop a faith that sustains time, the reward that God has for those who trust in him and who don't hold the praise. It's just something that must come from our generations. It's just something that must come. I can't leave it where it's at and where it was. My grandmother did too fine of a job for me to leave it where it was.
Bro, and it's crazy because you feel all of that. I've gotten that, even though this is the first time we've talked about it. I've gotten that from your music, from your art, and I think if we were to rewind it a little bit, right? So we mentioned that you're an angel father. I remember 10 plus years ago. You know what I'm saying? Songs like Roses and Fly Away, shout out Yusha.
Yeah.
Where you were always feeding us.
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah.
Because you're talking a lot about your family, but you were feeding us, our culture, our society for a long time. And then, then your brother passed.
Yup. 2014.
Your brother passed 2014.
Yup.
And then you were feeding everyone. And now a situation happens that we lost a brother, man. And it's a tough situation even still. You were faced with, incredible adversity. What were you like? Take me to where you were at that moment, because that's even before you became an angel father.
That is my experiences with that grief taught me how to surrender in this season with my daughter. So I remember the rooms the enemy took me in. I remember how each room of deceit or manipulation on your feelings, on your ego, on your identity, on your love, right? Like, my brothers and I could have really put harm in the city. A lot of harm. At the time I was living on the East Coast, and I just couldn't see me leaving my brothers to deal with some mess we further created.
And for those who don't know, what happened?
Yeah. Now, my brother Kareem, beautiful soul, an absolutely innovative servant leader. who's also just as thorough as they come. He was shot and killed in Sacramento on June 13th, 2014. It was a Friday. I got a call. I was at Maya Angelou Public Charter at the time. I was the dean. And we were just about to have the listening party for the Maya Angelou mixtape. I got funding through the Pollination Project to fund a therapeutic creative project in which I brought an engineer to the school, built up investment, built up morale. We had songwriting. We had investment weeks before the studio arrived so that students could create and record the songs and record their stories. And I brought in the artist, Jamal, to create a mural, which became the cover. Staff photographed it. We was creating. It was a listening party. I got a call that my brother was shot, and one of my students, who I identify as a student, then my life now shows me he's a grief mentor. He was one of my first grief mentors. He had already lost brothers before then, and I never said anything on the phone. He read my body language and caught me before I hit the ground, and ushered everybody out my office. I vividly remember that. But that experience, I didn't have the wisdom I have now. I didn't have the full understanding of the power of love that I have now. I didn't have the wisdom to tell the enemy, you get nothing. See, when my daughter was born and I learned that she transitioned, I went in the hallway. I said, enemy, you get nothing. And when we were leaving the hospital, I had to leave with my chest up, my shoulders back. I had to walk out as if I was proud of Felicia for what she had just done for our family. Because if I walked out with my head down, I felt like she was going to be walking into my cloud of shame. I had to go get the car. So I walked out proud of her. And I turned to my brethren Marcus and I told the enemy, I said out loud, I said, enemy, you get nothing. I said to put him back in his place, because these are the moments of pain, of loss, of grief, where he tries to slide in and take you into a room and position your feelings and position your reality. And I didn't know what it entailed, but I knew that it was only between me and God. Whatever it was, we was going to have to figure this out. This ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. So I don't need nobody with no word. I don't need nobody with no testimony. Nah, run me this one. Like, let me know. Let me know what you require of me. I said out loud, I asked Mom, what do you require of me? My mother heard me. Asking God, what do you require of me? Because I'm gonna do this with you. Nobody else could help me. No, there was no saving me. It already happened. There was no saving me. There was no make it go away. And I think the challenge of that is people see the smile on my face and may forget that I'm still inquiring on what do you require of me. It's still happening because it's not over. It's just, I could tell he's listening because he sends grace. He sends provisions. Our needs are met. We're closer as a family than ever before. We create more as a family than ever before. My family as well. Kamali is healthy. She's beautiful. She's brilliant. Her mother is beautiful, brilliant. I'm still inquiring on what do you require of me, because that's my baby girl. But his grace is some of the most beautiful things to witness. And if I'm counting my blessings, I can't simultaneously count my worries.
That's a bar, bro. That's a bar, man. If you count your blessings, you can't simultaneously count your worries.
No, man.
But the crazy thing is, too, like, we talked about this. Like, this is stuff that you wouldn't ask for, that we wouldn't ask for, right?
Yo.
But it's the stuff, like, you've always driven home, like, every time we talk, it's about gratitude.
Absolutely.
But how do you get to gratitude, right? You gotta go through some stuff to appreciate some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to go through some stuff to appreciate some stuff, but you also have to train your mind to find gratitude in everything. Because adversity won't teach you gratitude. Adversity could bust your ass. And if it's adversity after adversity, you kind of like, what is this? But if we train our mind, if we have the habits of mind, if we are intentional to find what it is that we are grateful for in every hardship, in every hard day. One of my affirmations says, my good days teach me how to approach, my hard days teach me how to approach all days. Right? So the habits of mind, I'm talking about, this work can be done by journaling. This work can be done by inquiring. This work can be done by writing. Felicia and I have created a series of toolkits to help train the habits of mind, to make room for love. So this is a Soul Affirmations collection, right?
Yeah, let's talk about it. How do we get it? Where do we find it?
I'm gonna tell you how to get it and how to find it, but I'm also gonna tell you how it came to be.
Let's go.
On the back of this book, Soul Affirmations, it reads, "Somewhere along the journey to find peace after losing my brother to gun violence, I made the decision to let love win. I found that there was too much pain occupying love's territory, and anger as a response to the pain they caused would only make me a participant in my own suffering. Love was the only way out. I could feel the presence of revenge trying to consume me. Soul Affirmations is a collection of affirmations, manifestations, and habits of mind that appeared on the pages of my journal over the last 4 years as I learned to surrender to the frequency of love. Let these writings be an invitation for you to manifest your light within and shine so that one day all of humanity will see that if we choose to surrender to love, greater is he that is within us than he that is within the world." So it's about a surrendering to love. There's nothing higher than love, nothing greater than love. But loss will challenge that. And someone taking something from you will challenge that. But this first collection began because I was inquiring. A friend of mine brought this to me in the hospital when Kamayu was born. Man, I didn't want to open it. I didn't feel like confronting the truths that I already know was there. I wasn't in the mood for it. And I opened it later. And I couldn't believe how those words came to find me and hold me.
Wow.
So then I realized in the beginning of the pandemic, I saw the world experiencing massive grief, and no one knew exactly what it was because we have a very grief illiterate society. And I sat on these, printed hundreds of them, sat on them, and I could feel God encouraging me to make these tools available. But I wasn't in the mood to be public until the people started to inquire. People knew. Families had this from my school. And they were sharing how they were using it when the kids weren't in school. And I said, I got to make these available. So then Felicia and I started to do the Soul Affirmation Sundays on IG, where she would ask me where the writings come from. And as a reference, Felicia also knew that the journaling was producing these things. So as she was journaling through her emotions, journaling through her feelings after the double transition of her firstborn, she carries for 9 months. She has no baby in her arms. Her body is transformed. She has to lactate and pump her breast and donate the breast milk. So her journal was yielding this wisdom, and we created the second iteration of Soul Affirmations. But along the way of the storytelling, after our appearance on Black Love reached out and said, we are in the process of creating a podcast network, and we'd like to know if you and Felicia would want a podcast on the network. And never did we even understand that our story would lend itself to such creative spaces and stories. And when Felicia released Soul Affirmations, a toolkit for mothers who are investigating grief's process, I said, oh, this is for mothers who are investigating grief's process, but as a man, I'm telling you, Felicia, there are jewels in here for us all. Right? There are jewels in here for us all. And I also want to acknowledge what you just heard was the sweet sound of my baby girl's voice.
Right.
You can find her in almost every record. Listen to me. Listen closely. That's part of the identity. She's almost in everything I create. So shout out to Kamali, who just made a guest appearance. Can I share an affirmation from Felicia's selection?
100%, bro.
I want to read this because it's what brings us here.
Thanks.
This is what brings us to your podcast space. Check out this bar she dropped.
Dr. Felicia, right?
This is Dr. Felicia. My Dr. Boo. She holds a PhD in educational psychology. Listen to what she writes, bro. She says, when we share our stories and are open about our feelings, we create room for compassion and connectedness. We create room for reference. We create room for love. That is, when we share our stories and are open about our feelings, we create room for compassion and connectedness. We create room for reference. We create room for love. This is so important because this is an invitation, a script, if you will, for exactly what we're doing here. It's the sharing of our stories. I can't free you. I can create the conditions for you to free yourself. So if we are open about our stories and we open up about them, we can hear bits and pieces of ourselves and people we love and people we know. So I just think she's so courageous for this offering.
Bro, and it is truly medicine, bro. Like, I think about it, this is it's therapeutic for you. Like, when you all were designing it was for you, right? You were documenting it. And it actually then came back around and was medicine for you. And then it's a matter of, are we willing to listen to God and take that step and leap of faith for people that need it? And I think about even in the Bible, everybody that's in it were scarred, been through some stuff
enough to stop.
You know what I'm saying? And it's what made them relatable. There aren't any perfect people, right?
Nah, keep those ones from me.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't. They're not my company. I don't learn from them.
It is one-sided. We can't just talk about the success. Everybody has that real story, and if we skip that, then we miss the opportunity to give God the glory and also authenticate our story.
There we go. Because people don't need a perfect, right? We don't need the shortcut. That's why everybody wants to see the behind the scenes.
Facts.
Right? They want to see the making of the video, right?
Facts.
Even with like context too. The Soul Affirmations project also turned into an album, right?
Dope album. Go cop that.
We recorded the vocals when we were pregnant with Kamayu.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I had to ask Felicia's permission to continue it, to offer it to the world, because we had all the audio files. They weren't scored yet. And Damani Rhodes, who has been by my side for years, but he also played at my brother's funeral.
Shut up.
He always told me, if you need me, I'm there with you. So he scored the project amidst the pandemic. And when we offer reference and we create a library of reference, our stories, they live, right?
Facts.
So it's not just our story. We need other stories. We need room for other storytellers as testimonies.
100%, bro. And it's documented. And it's a documented legacy. Like, everything you said was for your kids. And then the beneficiaries is also the culture.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I were to go back, I mean, you've been making music for the culture. You've been addressing stuff. Fast forward, your brother had passed, right? Tough situation. And I have a couple lyrics from some songs that, where I think it's so raw and real because it's you giving that, where you are, the realness at that time.
Yeah.
And then we see the progression, not necessarily even the progression, right? We see the different phases that you were in because it's documented. So like one of the, after, I think this came out around the time that your brother passed. There was one song that was, you dedicated it to those who considered homicide.
Wow. Yeah.
After someone they loved was being murdered.
Yeah. This is for for black males who consider homicide when they lost someone they love.
Bro,
wow.
Raw.
Wow. Yeah, that one never got committed to memory. Well, it got committed to memory, but it took up so much emotional space.
Bro.
It took up so much hard drive, that particular piece.
Bro, it's so raw and real. Y'all check it out it's on YouTube still. I actually probably like 10 around 2014, whenever it came out, I remember playing that for my wife because she lost her brother to gun violence. Wow. And it touched her bad, man. Bad, good, like she felt it.
Yeah.
And it's those raw emotions that I mean, where it's like, that's part of the gospel.
Absolutely.
If we just sing oh yeah, it's sweet and we made it out, like we need that raw, authentic, like I can connect with that feeling.
It better describes what grace is.
Facts.
It's the contrast we need, right? That's how the human brain perceives. We need contrast. So when I say God grace sustains me through all seasons, I'm talking about all of them.
But I love the fact that you are willing to jump and just document the raw emotion, because now it's in that library of things that then is like, this dude, you're not just talking from somewhere. And you can see that you don't need confirmation. You're not even looking for that because you've already been confirmed by your story, by what God has given you, what you're walking with now.
I thought about my youngins, man, in DC, who I buried a lot of students in my time in DC public schools. And a lot of my students buried a lot of their peers and family members. And I just owed them some reference about my experience, how it stings, how nasty it is. I remember them telling me, hey, yo, Bailey, man, you you knew, but we ain't want you to know for real. And it hurt them to see me. Because here's the thing, the whole thing about the Peace King testimony, like, I really just felt like, God, you can't use me no more. I'm damaged goods. And I still believe you are you, but I don't think you could use me. I'm corrupted. I want blood. I know what the prayers say. I'm not. And I felt nasty. And I remember one time I wanted to check this ill thing out. For a second, I found myself like still knowing that God was God, so I kind of wanted him to look the other way. And then I was like, no, please don't take your eye off of me. So, since you already know how I feel, I guess, but just please don't take your eye off of me. I remember that. I vividly remember that understanding. Because I wasn't doubting that God was God. I just felt like, it bit me. It bit me.
And that's the raw, crazy, I think about even like, the prophets and everybody we read about in the Bible. That's when it gets real. That's when that relationship is, bro. It's when it's like, everything's like, this is a lot. This is too much. What's going on? Like, you can't use, like, like you said, everything you described.
I'm corrupted. I can't be used. And here's the ill part. It was the surrendering to him, the surrendering to love. And I saw how much he could still use, yo. I was still so usable. And I'm still so usable. And I have utility. And I let God use me. It's his. Like, all right, so it's a fast forward. There's a whole story that happens. I'm in DC. I get asked to come to Oakland to open a school. This is Roses and Concrete in East Oakland. And legitimately, I said no like 3 times. And the big homie hit me back every time. Like, can we just have a conversation about it? And I'm like, about what? And he was like, massive, big ups Jeff Duncan Andrade. But he was like, the concept is like, it was very clear. I told him I didn't feel like coming to California and working for white people concerning black children. Because this was my experience growing up in California. And he was like, no, I don't think you understand. It's ours. What do you mean ours? We have autonomy. Huh? Come visit. At this point, there's no school. Just come visit about the meeting. There's the grounds, but the school doesn't exist. The structure doesn't exist. The skeleton doesn't exist. The culture. And, with autonomy comes great responsibility. But I had a chance to really pursue freedom. And you can't be, scared to pursue freedom. So a chance to dream different, create different, teach different. But this work in Oakland joined, I co-built a collective called Soul Development. So Soul Development became the live experience to a lot of the music I was writing, because I needed the music to feel like medicine. I needed to feel like something. So we started doing live arrangements, and this live arrangements became the composition known as Soul Development. And we partnered and co-created an organization, Be Imaginative. And that is like the impact side of Soul Development. So with Be Imaginative and Soul Development, we do healing circles for mothers who lost children to gun violence. To date, we've done a number of them: Sacramento, Oakland, Richmond, DC, Jamaica, Queens. We've done quite a number of them, but this work created the conditions for us to partner with KQED. And there were 2 documentaries formed from our work. One is called When the Waters Get Deep. You have to go see it now. You have to go to YouTube, and you have to go to YouTube, and you have to go see When the Waters Get Deep. I've never seen storytelling like it. So much so that I didn't like much of it. In the middle of documenting our story around doing healing circles for mothers who lost children to gun violence, documenting my family's story, telling Kareem's story, telling the amazing educator he is, father he is, Felicia and I experienced our loss during that filming. And it had nothing to do with the program. Wow. It had nothing to do with what we were filming. Wow. And everything paused for months. So watching this film it was never scripted to be this way. And from that piece, we created another storytelling component called Dear Beloved, which Soul Development released the album Dear Beloved. And
cop that.
This is a storytelling concert and letter reading. So the mothers read letters to their children who have transitioned. It's so powerful. And Soul Development performed original songs. And this film, produced by our dear brother, BJ McBride and Kelly Whalen and the team at KQED. See, BJ is really unique to the story because he and I grew up together in Meadowview. Right? He knows my brother. He understands what this meant to the community. And when grief almost muted Felicia and I, he stood in the gap. And we just began corresponding and still honoring our story. Well, Dear Beloved was a secondary project we created, and that won an Emmy.
Wow.
Right? That was the secondary project. Wow. There was supposed to be a tour for the concert, but the pandemic happened, so we created a secondary film.
Wow.
And this won an Emmy, and we just were in awe of the power of this storytelling. So I encourage others to tell their stories. for themselves, but not by themselves.
Man.
Tell your story for yourself, but not by yourself. Because it is in the collective agency of our storytelling. And it was the mothers who wrote the letters to the children that kept encouraging Felicia to write this book.
Crazy, bro.
So the mothers had wisdom that we needed, my mother included. And so yeah, I'm telling these parts of the story because it's hard to imagine that it's real.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine that somebody was really in the schools and then creating the music that the world needed in the way, because I knew that art impacts culture different than lectures. So I had to create art because art is a living, breathing thing.
And you're so gifted. That's your gift. It was your gift a long time ago. And then if you realize, and you know, of course you realized it, but God knew that you had a gift and that you were feeding. You talk about the power in sharing, the courage in sharing.
Yeah.
You talked about almost being muted, the grief almost beating you.
Yeah.
And that's what tends to happen, is that we have a choice. We can endure it and be quiet, and kind of when we come out of it, we might, you know, come back out, or we can share it in that raw fashion and go through all of those emotions that actually make it real. You know, you think about the people that was like, God, this is too much, or this is, you know, this is overwhelming. It actually authenticated them, because that's how we feel.
Yeah.
So then it actually makes them more relatable.
Yeah.
To everybody. Everybody goes through those stuff, and not everybody talks about it. So God needs the people that has the courage to share it. And he also blessed you with a talent long before everything. So then rewind it back to where you were saying, like, you can't use me. It's like God was saying, now I can.
Now I can.
Now I can use you.
It's the surrendering. It's when I think there was nothing left in me. He was like, and when I said it's my zone of genius, God creates everybody with some level of something they do so extraordinarily well.
Thanks.
But you know, everybody's not privileged to have the pursuit of that. I recognize I'm privileged. I'm privileged to do what I love with my family. I'm privileged to have my daughter with me when I create art in the world, right? I understand everybody has that privilege. But since it's the life I'm called to live, I'm going to do it openly, right? So somebody else can envision it. So somebody else can be present with their family. And it was my surrendering, which was actually the name of my first project in the book, right? Funny enough. Surrender was the first project I ever released. But when I surrendered to God and chose to live in the frequency of love, it transformed everything. I'm being used, and I'll be used, and I'll continue to be used. And I want to wake up and I want to be used, right? And I want to create art in the world that when my eyes are closed, when I'm sleeping, I'm still being used, right? And when my body is no longer here, I'm still being used. This is the long run, and can't nobody give me permission to do that. Can't nobody make that happen for me. So this is not about a cosign. This is not about what somebody can do. This is about I'm their father. I'm getting busy.
Right.
I'm getting busy.
Unfiltered. And that's the key, right? Because you talk about being used. You had the talent. You have now the circumstances and the situations. And you allowed yourself to be used. And a lot of times, right, we do the gospel a disservice when we give it a diet version. We try to tailor it. Oh, it's too raw. Well, I can't say that. And God is like, no, I need the person that's going to give it 100% real. I need the person that's going to say, I nearly lost my mind 1,000 times thinking about homicide.
Demons whispering in my ears, offering alibis. Can't forget the pain I felt looking inside my mama's eyes. I'm tripping. I ain't see my pop shed a tear since like 95. Something about a homicide make you think about your suicide. What happened if them bullets collide? What if I don't survive? Imagine me not having a son. How will my name survive? I took the bullets out of the gun and thought about my wife. If I could help it, she would never have to bury me. I'm thanking God because he has only come to better me. Save me from the fury of being a black man with the plan to take the life of another young black man. Damn. Just turn it to my testament now. I write my lessons, my blessings, successes, and my letdowns. I'm speaking hope to the struggle as these tears falling down. I hope this message will help my kings put back on their crown, Lord.
Come on, man. Come on, bro.
That's one of them ones.
That's what, yo.
That's
that
one of them
for
ones.
me, bro.
That's one of them ones.
Bro, that one for me.
That's one of them ones.
Is it, bro? I mean, really, one of them ones. Every one of them ones is them ones, bro. Every one of them ones is them ones, bro.
That's
what I'm saying. But the fact that you allow yourself to be used to say that, demons whispering in my ear, offering alibis. Come on, like something about your suicide make you think about. Something about a homicide make you think about your suicide. Hey, listen, like that's some raw stuff, bro.
Yeah, gunplay
that the church folks ain't just talking about.
Gunplay is not glory, right? It's not 100%. I knew some of the illest. It's never 100%. And even concerning like and when the records I say, gospel is not a genre. It's the truth where I'm from. So I'm gonna tell it all. Like God is intimidated by my truth. Right, so I'm gonna run it all because I'm not trying to reach those who are in the safety of the doors of the church. Man. I was always trying to reach those who never felt like the church was there for them, or they weren't clean enough, right? But God loves us as we are, where we are. We just have to pursue Him. So create the conditions for young men to pursue Him, because all that it don't matter how tough you is, G. Like the trauma of the dirt, it ain't that's not a sweet rest. So yeah.
By the way, shout out the Soul of Black Folk.
Soul of Black Folk.
Who got that joke?
It's a joke. That's Soul Development put numbers up on that one.
Man, bro. And see, for me, and I know for you, you don't really, the numbers are just the numbers. Yeah. Like for me, I see people, like right now, you got celebrities retweeting you. Shout out to Timberland, retweeting you, getting, circulated by all these different celebrities. For me, that don't really change. Like I've always viewed you like the realness, the character, the legend you are. Nobody can do something that was like, oh yeah, that's dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're just dope as you are. And it's always been that way. And that's like the stuff that I count, right? And the stuff that I value is how was the person not when they're on top? How is the person when they're going through it?
Yeah.
And I need to know that story, right?
Yeah.
In order to vet them, and the fact that you're able to put it in words and tell that story, then God is like, I got him where I want him.
Yeah.
And I'm still holding, like you said, we're still walking through this together. You know about some of the stuff that we've been through on this side.
Yeah.
We hold his hand together, but am I gonna dare the guy that's always behind the camera that is like off, I'm never in front of it. Am I gonna dare to put some stuff in front of it and be used and tell the honest truth, the unfiltered, uncut truth? I want to go to a couple of other songs though that along your journey, right? That's one of the ones that's one of them ones, like you said. But you got a lot of them. Troubles don't last always. Is that what they say? Talk to me about like that, them lyrics, bro, and where you were. Because again, it's so
life was amazing. On June 13th, it became a maze. I got a call on that Friday telling me that my older brother in California had just been slayed. I cried, jumped on the plane to plan your funeral. And 2 weeks later, we laid my brother in the grave. Now my mama trying to wipe all of the tears from my face, telling the babies that trouble don't last always. Was that what they say, mama? Well, can you ask whoever said it if they know when that trouble gon' let up, because these tears won't stop falling and revenge won't stop calling? In my head, I keep on thinking that my brother got set up. For 2 days, I didn't get up. I just laid there in mourning, waiting for joy to come in the morning. But it came a few weeks late to test my faith, had me standing on the ledge like, what more could I take? Plus that Henny had a hold of me, and my phone kept ringing. Nobody could get a hold of me. Revenge tried to take control of me, but my God saw different. He had plans for the soul of me, but it was harder to see and even harder to say. How could things be okay if I knew they'd never be the same? Man, I cursed the shooter's name and the womb from which he came. For our pain, may he never breathe again eternal flames, cause this pain here is life-changing. It can make your faith be compromised. I promise we gonna take care of your daughter. May her blessings be multiplied by every tear that she cries. I try to wipe these tears from my eyes. And damn, sometimes the pain don't rhyme. It used to hurt like hell. Now it hurt like heaven. Understand the best of us got to go through the worst of times. I said,
don't last always. I can't find my way out of the dark.
I can't get this pain out of my heart.
Say trouble.
Come on.
Don't last. Do you understand that's gospel, bro?
Wow.
That is gospel, bro. Like
oh my God.
The fact you can't produce, you were always super talented. You cannot produce that without what God brought you through.
And here's the ill
part. It needed to go together.
Yeah, it's just, you're not gonna take me out silent. I'm gonna tell the truth according to the goodness God has done for me. So the enemy can't come take me out and I just all of a sudden think I wasn't protected, I wasn't favored all along. And I realized that, like, through a lot of my experiences in songwriting and stories and trauma I experienced and grace I experienced, the ultimate journey is for us to be well, right? Black men want to be well. We want to be well. And dare I say, the classification of the black lived experience that they call a nigga, because that is a designed social experience, niggas want to be well too. They were once born somebody's baby, somebody's sugar, somebody's man, somebody's peekaboo, right? These are our babies, subjected to circumstances where wellness was just fleeting. So we want to be well. And when we tell our stories for ourselves, and when we're humanized for our experiences, they can see the beauty and the genius that resided in us all along. So I tell these stories to create the conditions that allow us to alleviate our suffering. Every day, we should be taking inventory of what's occupying love's territory. And we should be putting something down and picking more love up. We should be putting something down and picking more love up. We take inventory on what's occupying love's territory. So my work is here to create those conditions for us to do that. I want black families to be well. I want black children to be well. I want black households to be well. We deserve that. And we deserve sustainability. We deserve to see the longevity of God's word come true over generations. That's how the faith is developed over time. It's not instantaneous.
Man.
So we need time, and we need to be well to experience that time.
Say that, the time piece. Because even in the lyrics that you just quoted,
yeah,
you waited for joy to come in the morning.
But it came a few
weeks late.
Thank God I was well enough. Thank God I got to see a few weeks later. Thank God that the enemy didn't trick me to tell me that life is not worth living, right? That I don't want to be here either, because those thoughts, those suicidal ideations, they come with the idea of, what is this? What is this life? What is this version of life? And it's not that I want to leave. It's that I don't understand what's the point of this one now. And that happens to so many of us who don't get to say that out loud.
Come on, man.
Black men are among the leading population of suicide. We have so much silent stressors. We have so much going on inside. So I'm creating art. I'm creating the music. I'm creating the conditions, the podcast, the book, the medicine to help us be well. Wellness is the new genre.
Let's go, man.
That's what I'm kicking. And you're going to get it in every angle. Watch. It's happening everywhere.
Come on, man.
Wellness is the new genre.
So yeah, man, medicine is what you've been given, and I totally see and hear in your music that God is and in your art, right? Because it's more than the music. It's the podcast. It's the books.
The films.
The
Emmy award-winning films.
Emmy. Let's go, man.
Stop playing.
Let's go, man.
We're not even gonna play with it like
Stop playing with them, man.
Put the
respect on it.
Yeah, the duration, the dedication.
Yeah, man.
Right? It's not every day you get to create art that impacts the world that way.
That's so authentic. So just I'm gonna go through a couple of these lyrics and then we wrap it up, because again we can go on for days. But after that song, and maybe this was before, I think about this song and the lyrics in here. Your degrees can't save you, and neither can your fame.
Black family legacy.
100,000 followers who all scream your name.
Because them 100,000 followers can't help you bear this pain. You born alone, you die alone, you lead the way you came.
I just hope
that my lungs and my heart stay good, because these backwoods and these black hoods is toxic. It's like it's trying to claim a black man life. Power to the sisters trying to be a black man wife.
Come on. That's exactly what you was just talking about.
Come
bro.
on, G. Yes.
Despite a black man's plight.
Pipe as many as he could. Black man, get a wife if you really know what's good. Get your queen, build your throne, start your family, build a home, and miss me with that misogynistic shit that you be on. Because the black woman is God. I seen it for myself. And you can't cheat on God without lying to yourself. I think the world of you when you think the world don't love you. I always got your back. You remind me of my mother. I loved when so many people raised their eyebrows around the black woman is God and all these. No, I'm simply talking about what gives you the right to manipulate a black woman. Is she not? Did God not create her? Is she not an extension? You dig what I'm saying? So in this way, it's like, nah, we honor them. We put them first.
Facts. Yo, I mean, again, it's so authentic and so real and so raw, and oftentimes doesn't get said. And the fact that you have the courage to put it in there. Another one that comes to mind, I'm alive. I'm alive, bro. And one of the bars that stood out, shout out to
Kamali.
Shout out to Kamali. One of the bars that stands out of that song is, what do you tell a mother that lost her children?
You don't say nothing, brother. Shut up and just learn to listen.
That resonates with me, right? Because for me, and we talked about it on an episode that I did with my older brother that came out on Mother's Day. Go check that out if you haven't already.
Do that.
Well, we got into some conversation that we had for the first time on the podcast.
Wow.
And we're different. We talked about how different we are, right? And we handle things differently because we're different people. So he handled stuff in a way that he needed to do to get through. So he was very vocal and he needed to talk to people. And I was more so quiet. He appreciated people coming through and calling, you know what I'm saying, and speaking. I was more so like, don't tell me no words. Just shut up. You know what I'm saying? And though they're different situations, right?
But go ahead.
In that grieving process, right? You got to figure out what people need. You can't just try to throw words at people because that could be insults.
Felicia said, I realized the place where people were offering their words from was so vastly different from where it landed.
Man, I can't say it better than that, bro. That's
she,
it.
She put the bar out there.
That's the bar, bro.
So
I can't say it
vastly
better
different
than
from where it lands, and that just. So I just offer to anybody out there who's supporting somebody through grief. Presence is profound. Sometimes it's less than what you say and just how you can be, how you love, how you offer, how you pick up slack, you know. But there isn't like a set of words that make it all better. You just sometimes the words help us to reflect on our own feelings.
Bro, you and your wife are profound, bro, and that is exactly what I felt that she put in. She beautifully put it in words that only a doctor like her can. She's
special. Yeah.
Shout out to Fever.
Shout out to
Fever. One of the last songs that I'll get to that I would revisit the lyrics on is more recent. No Weapon. And that was dope because. One shout out to So Lauren and Molly Music who's on there.
Yeah.
Killed it.
They held that down.
But it's dope too, not only because of them and you're on there, but because of the full circle that I heard. And again, all the lyrics, these are just a few that I grabbed. Go listen to all of the albums and everything on YouTube. But listen to that song, you still revisited some portions, right? Throughout the courses.
Yeah.
But then it's like tied into this beautiful song. Particularly in the chorus, goes, I just went through troubled waters. I got down in the deep. I done climbed the highest mountain. I done been to the peak. I done held some heavy moments.
Lord,
I just couldn't speak.
There were days I couldn't speak.
But every step of the way,
yes,
you had your hand on me.
Absolutely.
And it's exactly what we talked about, bro. But even in the lyrics, right? You know what I'm saying? We pray for that child. We seen delays, not denials. And when that water got deep, I never doubt.
I said your word through the trials and storms. Remember when my first child was born? Word is born, my whole world was torn. A deeper grief than any trauma I had ever known. We had a baby, but we never got to bring her home. And I was taught that weeping may endure for the night. But this year fight felt like 40 days and 60 nights. It broke my heart, but not my love, and I would come to know that grief is love, and if it's love, you never let it go. So I just learned to breathe deep through the deep grief. Go to therapy to debrief, then repeat. I just had to breathe deep through the deep grief. It won't be perfect, just be present and repeat.
Man, bro, it's amazing, bro. It's awesome to go through those raw emotions and see you stand on your word and in the word in those situations. Seeing you not only share and be transparent with it, but also with your situations, but also given to the world and the culture in a time where Black people were dying and getting killed by police. You have songs on that address that.
Glory to God that he chose me to be endowed this way. The idea that he had this much put in me as a seed. But we only find out what's in a seed two ways. They're either buried or broken. Okay? And broken open. You can be broken or you can be broken open. And God definitely put an endowment inside of me. So this is the season where I come on to podcast, do interviews, because I have to pour. When the tree bears fruit, you have to trim. So this is a season where I got to give and make room for new harvest. So I'm so deeply grateful that you chose to have me on your space, chose to have me, and you're already successful. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful that this part of the story, this kind of back end to the story lives here, right? So now they can go inside and get the artist's perspective and where these lyrics come from. I just thank you for having the courage to create this platform, to create a space where we can do this, man.
Yo, again, thanks for being here, man, and thanks for sharing everything. Like you said, you're already successful. A lot of times people see that success. They see you from a distance, right? They see all the accolades that we ran off. And if they follow you and listen to you, you're transparent and open, so you share it all. But it's important to talk about those moments where we felt like, what the hell? Like we felt like, nah, this ain't it. Because you were already successful back then with your talent.
Absolutely.
And you made a decision to keep going and keep climbing. And here you are. So regardless of where you are, whatever it is that you face with or going through, when life gets uncomfortable, you know what I mean? It means it's new. It means God has you in a new place. Yeah. But if you keep holding and keep walking, it'll get more comfortable. And it's not ever fully comfortable, which is actually not necessarily a bad thing. But as long as we're holding his hand and moving forward and willing to be used and open and transparent, the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, the mishaps, the blessings, successes, and the letdowns, if we share that, then that's the medicine I think that I want to put out there. And that's kind of one of the goals of the show, is to show people, stop looking at them. Yeah. Start looking within about you know what have I conquered? Regardless of what's in my bank account or what I've done, what have I been through, a situation that I'm going through, even if I'm going, by definition, you are successful if you are achieving. Yeah. Then keep going. Because nobody escapes what we talking about. Everybody feels it and faces it. So
shout out to the legend Nip that said the genius thing I did, I kept going. Right. So I encourage you all to keep going. Thank you for creating space to keep going. And remember, make sure you check out When the Waters Get Deep. It's available on YouTube.
Let's go.
And you can go to soulandlove.com to find all of me and Felicia's offerings. Okay. Soul, SOL, and love.com to find all of our offerings. I look forward to building community with y'all. You can follow me on IG, I'm very a beautiful community there. You know, the handle, I'm sure it's there, but it's Karega Bailey at KaregaBailey. And tune in now so you can watch this beautiful album unfold.
There it is, bro. So we can go to that with the website, get everything that you need, catch up. So much medicine there. Grateful to have you on, bro.
Thank you so
Shout
much.
out also to the Sure Black Fathers Are Necessary.
Yeah, Messiah.
Our boy Messiah.
Yes.
Messiah, I'm coming for you too, bro. You getting on here.
All right.
There it is, man. That episode's a wrap. Like, tap, subscribe, share, come back. Peace. Love you, bro.
Love you, kid. Love you dearly, man.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Respect the wind and how it blow. You never know. You could be up, you could be down, and then be down against some more. Respect the wind and how it blow. You never know. You could be up, you could be down, and then be down against some more. Yo, I nearly lost my mind 1,000 times thinking about homicide. Demons whispering in my ears, offering alibis. Can't forget the pain I felt looking inside my mama's eyes. I'm tripping, I ain't seen my pop shed a tear since like 95. Something about a homicide make you think about your suicide. Happen if them bullets collide, what if I don't survive? Imagine me not having a son, how will my name survive? I took the bullets out of the gun and thought about my wife. If I could help it, she would never have to bury me. I'm thanking God cause she has only come to better me. Save me from the fury of being a black man with the plan to take the life of another young black man. Damn, this turned into my testament now. I write my lessons, my blessings, successes, and my letdown. I speak in hope to the struggle as these tears falling down. I hope this message will help my kids put back on their crown. Lord knows
that all that I am and all I've been through, I give you the glory, all praises due. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for you. Singing glory, hallelujah.
precious children of the ghetto. Protect your dreams, don't ever let them settle. Don't let nobody tell you you ain't special. Don't let nobody act like you ain't meant to achieve at an all-time high. We are the children of an on-time God, and sometimes on-time still can take a little while. Hope is multi-generational for blacks and brown. We grew a garden back in August and at harvest now. We growing roses in concrete pockets smiling down. On the least of us, the left out and the look over. God bless the mamas who know how to chef them leftovers. We say our prayers, then we take another step forward. This shall we fear if the Lord above is standing for us.
Nobody.
They systems that can never win. Sons of the sun, you can see it in our melanin. Fist in the air, freedom fighters, we ain't settling. On this road to heaven, then we gotta go through hell again.
Yellow fields, dirt roads, church home by the corner store, bloodstained, foxtails, K9 on a hot trail. Little black child, chase your dream. Let nothing hold you back, not one thing. Fly as high as you wanna go. Shine your melanin across the globe. 'Cause you can't be what you wanna. Conditions you're in temporary holder.